Hey, what's up everyone? Today is a very special day. I was recently given the opportunity to go to one of the most unknown countries in the world. A little country you might all know as China. Now you're probably wondering, why in the world would you willingly go to China? And honestly, it wasn't my first choice. But had I not gone, I would have never known what the country was really like. For my whole life, I've been led to believe that China was some sort of brutal place. I was led to believe that these people were cruel and unjust. They wanted nothing to do with America. But when I got there, it was something so much different. Some of us probably believe that the Chinese people hate the United States of America. So I'm going to argue why this is just not true. The Chinese words for the United States is "mei gao," which translate to beautiful country. The supposed country that they hate is known as the beautiful country. No one ever describes an enemy country as beautiful. They will call it a land with savages, a place of anarchy. And this honestly blew my mind to hear our country described in such a way. So I thought to myself, okay, so they call it a beautiful country. But I know that none of these people have probably ever seen an American before. So how would they react when they saw one for the first time? Would they look at me with disgust? Hate? Fear? How would they react? And then it happened. On my way out of one of the terracotta soldier exhibits, 4 girls came rushing at me. Big smiles on their face, brimming with such glee and kindness. And I honestly didn't know what they could possibly want. Then one of them held up their cell phone and took pictures with me on 4 separate phones. So to be expected, I was absolutely confused out of my mind. So I asked them if I could get a picture with them as well, because maybe it was a tradition, maybe it was a culture thing. So once we took the pictures, they all ran off screaming like they had just met Leonardo DiCaprio. I honestly felt like I was some sort of boy band heartthrob, and I just made them run off screaming. But it didn't stop there. I got pictures with people from the Forbidden City, the Great Wall of China, the bottle opener building in Shanghai, and even the temples. These people seem more excited to see me rather than the 7th wonder of the world. Me, a random kid from the United States, got all this attention. And it wasn't just me. Most of the people that I had in this tour group, they all got pictures taken with them as well. So I asked our tour guide, his name is Jackie, very kind, very sweet person, who actually is a native of China in Shanghai, actually. And I asked him, Jackie, what's the deal with this? Why are all these people coming over to see me? And they're so excited. What is that all about? And he told me this. These people are from the rural part of China. They're all here to see the rest of their country. They have come from a very long distance, and they've never actually seen foreigners before. So to the Chinese people, we stand out like a sore thumb. So what they do is they want to take pictures with us so that they can go home with them and then show their friends, their family, and all their relatives that they met a foreigner. And a foreigner is now their friend. I must have talked to them for maybe 5 seconds, if anything. These people are now my friends, apparently, and they even might have a picture of me hanging up on their wall by the time they get back. And that was super interesting to me. These people acted like we were celebrities and showed us nothing but respect and love. I also want to point out that we went to 3 major cities, which consist of Beijing, Xi'an, and Shanghai. So I wasn't able to see the back rural areas of the country, where apparently the population is struggling the most. I'm not telling you that this country is all rainbows and butterflies. Everyone in this country is not living in a utopia, of course, especially in the rural areas of the country. The rural areas used to actually consist of 80% of the population. Now, 20 years later, it only accounts for 30. Well, a lot of these people are moving from the rural areas to the cities in order to find a better life, in order to find a better opportunity to go and do something for their family. Skyscrapers completely dominated the whole landscape. A landscape that used to be full of fields. The streets were crowded, traffic was everywhere, but it didn't seem to dampen these people's spirits. We were actually given the opportunity to meet these people face to face in their own backyards. We played a game of hacky sack with these people. along with a bike ride through the back alleys of China, seeing China for what it really is, seeing the lives of these people. It was so unreal. On one of these days, we were actually given the opportunity to dine in the house of a local Beijinger. Little did we know he was a Kung Fu master. Retired, of course. He told us all the work that he had done with movie companies, and even the fact that he worked with Jackie Chan himself to perfect his craft. It was honestly one of my favorite parts of the whole trip. So I thank you very much, sir. 谢谢. The daily lives of Chinese people usually consisted of three things, nothing else. Meat, vegetables, grain. Not a lot of sugar, not a lot of fats. And honestly, I got really tired of the rice. Oh, let me tell you, I'm really tired of the rice. And each restaurant had their own little style of preparing the food. And when we were there, we had a Lazy Susan as well. Now, for you, those of you who don't know what a Lazy Susan is, it's basically a big circular glass plate-ish thing. And you would spin it around, and as you go, you take food from it and put it onto your plate. And you're surrounded by maybe 12 other people who all want to take different pieces and put it onto their plates. The design was really flawed because people would actually like take the food and they would spin it around and not bother to look at anybody else and see if they were taking food. So we had those people, know who you were, who were spinning it around when I'm trying to get my piece of chicken. And the plate just keeps on going. And you know who it was. So moving on, you can see that there's a variety of foods, including these things. The mystery meatball. I don't know what was in this meatball. I honestly have no idea. It wasn't pork based, it wasn't beef based, it wasn't even chicken based. I honestly have no idea what this is. It is now deemed the mystery meat. Speaking of weird things to eat, I want to show you what the weirdest thing I ate was. For those of you who are squeamish about disgusting things, you should go to this time in order to save your appetite, I should say. I ate this. Yeah, that's a chicken head. Okay, so listen. I wanted the whole experience of China, and this is apparently good luck when eating because I found it in my soup. Don't ask me why it's doing in my soup. I honestly couldn't tell you. So, at first, I thought you were supposed to eat the whole thing, but I realized that the bones were still there as well as the beak. So I took a bite of the skin and turned to our guy Jackie and said, "Hey Jackie, what are you supposed to eat out of this?" And he said the brain. So obviously I spat out the skin. Oh, God, it gave me the chills actually just thinking about that. Oof. Spat out the skin and looked at everyone around in my group, and they just stared at me, and I said, "I'm gonna eat this chicken brain." And they in turn said, "Do it." Not really. They looked at me like I was crazy, and honestly, I probably was kind of crazy.
Definitely better, but like...
Here we go. We got the chicken,
gross.
and apparently all you can eat is chicken brain. And I'm gonna show this to my grandma when I get back. So. Chicken brain. So some of you are probably wondering what it tastes like, and honestly, I'm gonna leave that to the imagination. No, I'm not. I'm really gonna just scare you a little bit. It was very weird and had a really odd consistency, and highly recommend it. But I regret nothing. This wasn't the only food they had, though. They had a lot of American-based foods as well. They had things like McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, Starbucks, as well as Sprite and Coke as like the main drinks that we'd had. Of all the sodas we had, it was mostly Sprite and Coke. In China, you can't drink the tap water. It's like Mexico, where everything else is drinkable except for the tap water. You can use it to brush your teeth, of course. You could use it to wash out your hair or wash your face. So the way to get water was through our hotels. And also my brother and I were smart enough to bring filters. But of course my dumbass forgot to dump the water out in the airport. So there's that. But each day we were given a bottle of water from the hotel, and each day they would put a new one out after they cleaned up the rooms. Very easy to find water, I would say, in China. They passed out bottles of water all the time for us. It also rained a lot there, so I don't know why, when it's still mostly summer there, it came down on us. But it came down on us so hard, and one of the places it came on us really hard was at the school trip at a school in China. So this school is not a normal school, I should say. It's a Kung Fu school. We were giving a tour of this place, and I know what you might be thinking. Okay, so you saw a Kung Fu master, you saw a school for kids. We also actually saw a Kung Fu show. You're probably thinking, damn, does everybody in China know Kung Fu? Yes, they do. Most of them do, apparently, but not all of them. I'm just kidding. I wonder what the popular. Oh, I'm actually curious what the statistic is to Kung Fu to population ratio. That'd be interesting to look up. So while we were at the school, one of the boys came up to us and told us what the school was like. 7 days a week for a whole school day, and then they get a break every other week for 1 day. It's not like our American school systems at all. Frankly, I don't think any of us could have survived the workload that these kids go through. Day in and day out, they're working very hard to create a better life for themselves. Because a degree is one of the only things that can help these people get a very good job. It is like life and death to get a degree. Like having a child for them, which is different from America's school system, where a degree is very helpful for high-up jobs, but not that big of a deal, and definitely not life or death. I think this is one of the biggest things that sets these two countries apart from one another when it comes to their cultures. China is much more of a rigid and dutiful country, while the US is more laid back and open opportunity country. Neither country is wrong in their approaches to life, though. It's our choice to live the way that we want to live. No person can ever tell you how to live your life, and no person is in command of your destiny other than yourself. This trip has opened my eyes to China and shown me a part of it that I would have never thought possible. I got to see firsthand that these people are human. They have hopes, desires, dreams of making a life for themselves. They aren't a bunch of fanatics and mindless workers. They think and they feel as you and I do. So the next time you see China on the news, don't think of the politics. Look at the people they're having to live in a place that they call home. A place rich in history, architecture, food, and home to a bunch of loving and caring people and families with friends and neighbors, all of which who support each other and hold each other up in the worst times. So this is my challenge to you. I wanted to make a video that does justice for what I saw there, based on my own first-hand experience of the place. Even though it has many problems that need to be solved, like any other country, this is a country filled with love and compassion. So that's where I'm going to end the video, guys. There's going to be another part of the video of this whole series talking about what China's like in terms of architecture, the traffic, as well as different monuments, and also some warnings I should tell you if you ever do decide to go to China. China is not the perfect place, and it's not all rainbows and butterflies, as I had said before. And so as the sun sets, I bid you all adieu.